The DevOps Foundation Course, Lesson 3, Introducing DevOps, Part 2. Welcome to Lesson 3. In this lesson, we'll continue our definition of DevOps, including who is doing DevOps, DevOps and IT performance, DevOps and automation, measuring success, introducing DevOps principles and patterns. So, who is doing DevOps? Take a look at these examples. Some of them might surprise you more than others. Many of the pioneers were internet companies with no physical stores or locations. Their website is their entire company presence, so they must innovate and improve constantly to succeed. Financial, retail, and insurance companies can be very risk-averse and reluctant to adopt new ways of working, but they are also realizing they must innovate to survive. Academia is another growth area for DevOps, as universities adjust to the rise of online learning. DevOps emerged from startup companies who understand clearly that quality and time to market are essential survival traits. Enterprises are also starting to understand this perspective. Large companies can be at a significant disadvantage if they can't be agile or move quickly. These first adopters don't set out to create DevOps. They implemented practices to deliver the outcomes they wanted, to do more with less, to get products to market quickly, to adapt, to innovate, and to improve flow. The outcomes were realized by improving the flow of work, feedback loops, and accountabilities between Dev and Ops. These practices were later named DevOps. Startups can be nimble, responsive, and deliver quality faster. Enterprises are seeking to copy these behaviors without incurring increasing technical debt. The differences between the practices of startups and enterprise IT are often related to the differences between unicorns and horses. Startups are therefore often referred to as unicorns, while traditional enterprise IT organizations are often referred to as horses. You can see their characteristics here. The value of DevOps applies to both unicorns and horses. Improving time to market, managing capacity, technical debt, and maintaining stability and security are universal goals for both enterprises and startups. It's time for an exercise. Plan to spend 20 minutes on this exercise, and don't forget, you'll find some suggestions in your exercise solutions document. In your course introduction, we asked you to read 2 articles and make some notes about which one you felt was the most compelling. Go back to those articles and your notes now. Have you changed your mind? Why? What points seem more or less important? You can see the links on screen if you need them again. Okay, we've got a few topics left to study in this lesson. DevOps and IT performance, DevOps and automation, measuring success, introducing DevOps principles and patterns. Let's start with DevOps and IT performance. On your screen, you can see the project management triangle. You might have come across this concept before. The idea is that you can pick 2, so if you want it fast and good, it won't be cheap. If you want it cheap and good, it won't be fast. This is similar to the demands many IT departments now face. They have to move faster and faster, but they don't get any extra budget, and they don't get any more margin for error. DevOps practices can improve both agility and stability. Practices like version control, continuous integration, continuous delivery, and automated testing all help to capture value at the source and stop errors from being passed downstream. Sophisticated monitoring can also be implemented much earlier in the development lifecycle. On the screen, you can see some findings from the 2016 State of DevOps report. High-performance organizations are more agile. Code is deployed 200 times more frequently. Deployments are completed more than 2,000 times faster, but also services are more stable. There are 3 times fewer deployment failures. Mean time to recover is 24 times faster. DevOps practices can improve IT's performance. IT's performance can then improve organizational performance. DevOps organizations seek to be anti-fragile organizations. The state of anti-fragility is a state in which every change and adaptation makes a system more resilient. The system is adaptive and evolutionary, improving as a result of external stress. Anti-fragile organizations will seek out and embrace change. They are inherently outward-focused and try to continually learn, adapt, and assimilate. They do not assume they are infallible or that there is no opportunity to improve. Some organizations will even deliberately introduce failure, for example, unplugging a server or turning off an application. Netflix is an example of an organization working to be anti-fragile. They introduced the concept of the Chaos Monkey. This is an open-source software tool for DevOps created by Netflix's Adrian Cockcroft that tests computer systems. The software works by intentionally creating different failures and tests the ability to survive them. Now, an organization has to have a certain level of maturity before it can see value from this sort of test, but a DevOps organization would certainly be working towards this. How would your organization survive an outbreak of the Chaos Monkey? Our next topic to consider in this lesson is DevOps and automation. We'll look at automation in more detail later in the course, but we're introducing it here because it's an essential part of DevOps. We'll be considering terms like continuous integration and continuous delivery during the course. These are ways of working that differentiate DevOps and help to deliver the performance advantages we've already discussed. Automation is an essential element of DevOps. It enables agility, consistency, speed, and reliability. Automation means we can do things faster, with less risk and less chance of human error. Tasks can be done in a repeatable way, reported on and analyzed. Many organizations hit an immediate problem when they start to look at DevOps and automation. They might find that they have a very diverse IT environment, with different teams using different tools in isolation. Different teams might also be following different frameworks, methods, and processes. Inconsistency across an organization makes the adoption of DevOps much more challenging. To support DevOps, architects, developers, quality assurance, testers, support professionals, and other teams need to be using shared systems, frameworks, and processes. So, what do we need in place to enable automation? Remember, DevOps isn't just about automation, but automation can provide significant support to a DevOps initiative. Areas of automation that can support DevOps include infrastructure as code, which enables the reconstruction of the business from nothing but a source code repository, an application data backup, and bare metal resources. Continuous integration, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment. Terms we'll study in more detail later in the course. On-demand creation of environments. All environments, including production, development, and test, need to be kept in sync. Every environment is someone's production environment because it's where they do their work. Further automation enablers include repeatable and reliable deployment processes, development and testing performed against production-like systems, automated testing, and proactive monitoring of infrastructure components, environments, systems, and services. How many of these are present in your organization? Take a few minutes now and think about the benefits of automation. Try and make a list of at least 5 benefits you can think of. Automation can free up human resources. What might they be able to do in that time? When you're ready, click on the screen to see some suggestions. Our next topic is to think about how we might measure the success of DevOps. As with any change in an organization, it's important to be able to demonstrate that making an effort has led to improvements. Success can be measured in many different ways, and it's important that each organization understands what success will look like for them. Success might be measured in financial terms, such as return on investment or increased productivity thanks to higher system availability. It might be measured in terms of reduced opportunity costs, The organization is able to make money on new products because they can be released faster. It might be a qualitative measurement that looks at non-financial measures such as customer satisfaction. What sort of measures would be relevant to your organization? To prove that DevOps is delivering value, we need to measure overall IT performance. We can't measure Dev or Ops in isolation and expect to see the big picture. Dev and Ops should share accountabilities and share the same key metrics. IT performance is measured in terms of throughput and stability. Click on each term to find out what that means. To know that we've improved, we must be able to measure where we started from as well. To show that DevOps has made some successful changes in the organization, we need to collect a set of metrics before and after the change. A measurement at a particular point in time is called a baseline. Such an organization might, for example, take a baseline that showed they were able to do 4 successful releases per month. After implementing DevOps practices, that measure might have changed to 50 successful releases. This would show a clear improvement. You can see some examples of DevOps metrics on screen. You might have used some of these in your own organization. Remember, this is not an exhaustive list, and organizations need to choose metrics to demonstrate they are meeting their own goals. There are some phrases you may be unfamiliar with here. Change lead time is considered to be one of the most important metrics as it delivers a result that is visible to the customer. Cycle time is a measure of process capability. Cycle time will affect lead time, as will other factors including the customer's readiness for delivery and the customer's priorities. Mean time to recover is a measure from when a component fails until when it is repaired. Mean time to restore service includes MTTR, but also any other actions required to restore service, for example, reloading data onto a server after a failed power supply caused corruption. Ultimately, DevOps provides companies with a competitive advantage by delivering better software faster. DevOps allows organizations to respond more quickly to change customer requirements or disruption in their market. If organizations don't measure their DevOps practices, they won't be able to prove that they have improved performance. Our final topic in this lesson is to briefly introduce DevOps principles and patterns. We'll have a very quick overview here before we look at them in more detail in later lessons. Let's start with the principles. These will be important for your exam, so why not make a quick note of them now and start to consider what they mean for your organization. The DevOps principles are the 3 ways, introduced in the Phoenix Project novel. We highly recommend reading the Phoenix Project as part of your DevOps journey. This link takes you to a short video that introduces the 3 ways. Then click on each number to see some information about each way. The first way is flow. Organizations need to understand and increase the flow of work from left to right. This is a way of describing the flow of work from the idea through to production or releasable code. If we can improve flow by reducing or eliminating bottlenecks or constraints, we can deliver value more quickly. The second way is feedback. Organizations need to create shorter feedback loops that enable continuous improvement. The faster we can identify improvement opportunities or fix issues, the less impact there is on the development process. The cost of correcting something increases the further through the development process it goes. The third way is continuous experimentation and learning. Organizations need to create a culture that fosters experimentation with a willingness to take risks and learn from failure. Don't be afraid to fail, but fail fast, recover, and move on. Culture also needs to accept that repetition and practice are essential for mastery of any activity. Finally, we need to consider DevOps patterns. This content is not examinable, but it's important for your overall understanding. DevOps activities fall into 4 patterns, or areas, shown on screen. In each area, there will be bidirectional interaction between Dev and Ops, which leads to knowledge exchange and feedback. Generally, areas 1 and 2 will be more tools-focused, and 3 and 4 will be more people and culture-focused. Area 1 is where Dev and Ops collaborate to improve anything related to delivering a product to production. This could include, for example, creating or extending continuous integration and release processes from Dev into Ops, integrating QA and information security into the workstream, ensuring production readiness of the code and environment. Area 2 is where all the information from IT operations is provided as feedback to Dev and the rest of the organization to support good decisions in the future. Ops is where service or product value is ultimately delivered, so feedback from here is essential to Dev. Area 3 is where Dev takes co-ownership of what happens in production. This might include Dev providing cross-training to Ops, or problematic services being returned to Dev, or Dev getting involved with incident management. Area 4 is where Ops gets the opportunity to be involved with Dev, providing Ops knowledge early in the life cycle of a product. Let's finish with a quote from Gene Kim about DevOps patterns. I believe that most of the DevOps patterns are the emergent properties that arise when you apply the techniques like Lean, the Toyota production system, the theory of constraints, and so forth to the IT value stream. We'll study some of these areas in more detail soon, but you'll find a quick overview in the study guide for this lesson. Before you move on, here's a video link to learn about Nordstrom and their DevOps journey. Think about what you've learned so far as you watch the video. There's also a quick quiz to test what you've learned. Click the Next button to move on to it when you're ready. That brings us to the end of this lesson, where we have continued our definition of DevOps, including who is doing DevOps, DevOps and IT performance, DevOps and automation, measuring success, introducing DevOps principles and patterns. In the next lesson, we'll start to look at how DevOps relates to some different frameworks.